Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Michaela Kerrison, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Captain Robert Smiley. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Victory College, Gympie, Queensland. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. If you are able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private William Henry Irvine Gibson. William Gibson was born on the 15th of August 1895 at Mount Murray near Kangaloon in New South Wales. He was the second child and only son of William Anglo Gibson and Vergetta Elizabeth Gibson. William spent much of his childhood moving with his parents and 5 sisters around the south coast of New South Wales before settling in Jamberoo near Kiama. As a teenager, William served for 2 years in the senior cadets, reaching the rank of sergeant. He then joined the 37th Illawarra Regiment of the militia as a company sergeant major. Like many young men in Kiama, William worked as a labourer at the local quarries after finishing his schooling. He was also an active member of the Jamberoo Loyal Orange Lodge and the Minamurray branch of the Grand United Order of Oddfellows, 2 fraternal societies that were heavily involved in the New South Wales labour and union movements in the late 19th century and the early 20th centuries. He was renowned throughout Kiama and Jamberoo as being well liked by all who knew him and very enthusiastic over military matters. William enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 3rd of December 1915 in Kiama as part of the Waratah Recruitment March. He arrived at Liverpool Training Camp on the 20th of December and was assigned to the 16th Reinforcements of the 1st Battalion with the rank of private. Before leaving Australia, William attended 3 farewells in Jamberoo and Kiama in early 1916. The first event was hosted by the local Loyal Orange Lodge in January, and the second by the Kiama Recruiting Association in February, and the third by the Mayor of Jamberoo in March. The popular figure in town, he received a safety razor outfit, a sheepskin vest, a care package, an inscribed silver matchbox, a watch, and Oddfellows token as farewell gifts from his friends and local organisations. Along with the rest of the 16th Reinforcements of the 1st Battalion, Private Gibson embarked for the front aboard the SS Maracani on the 1st of April 1916. After several weeks at sea and a short stop in Egypt, William arrived at Marseille, France on the 17th of May 1916. He undertook further training at the 1st Division Base Depot in Epidla until the 25th of June, when he joined the 1st Anzac Entrenching Battalion. For 2 weeks, William worked with the battalion to set up bivouac shelters in Belgium. On the 11th of July 1916, William was one of 37 soldiers dispatched from the Engineering Battalion as reinforcements for the 1st Infantry Battalion. He travelled by train to Vognacourt in the Somme region of France, where he joined the rest of the battalion. His first and only major battle was to take place just a few days later near the French village of Pozières. The ridges behind the ruined village were held by the German enemy and offered valuable defensive high ground. Following initial failed attempts from the British units to capture the village or force the Germans back, a major offensive was launched on the 23rd of July 1916. The 1st Battalion was involved in the opening assault on the German lines, suffering 276 casualties in the first 36 hours of combat. At 12:30 a.m. on the 23rd of July, the 1st Battalion began their attack on the German trenches outside Pozières. Despite heavy enemy artillery and gunfire, the initial German lines were captured by Allied forces by the end of the day. At some stage during the first 24 hours of fighting, William was killed by enemy fire. An inquiry into his death by the Red Cross Wounded and Missing Inquiry Bureau returned conflicting reports regarding the cause of his death, with eyewitnesses attributing it to either a bullet through the heart or an enemy shell. All agreed that William Gibson had been killed on the 23rd of July and that his body was buried in the field on or around the 26th of July. William's body was never recovered from the field outside Pozières. He is commemorated at the Villers-Bron de Honha Memorial in France. He was 20 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is one of but many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private William Henry Irvine Gibson, who gave his life for us, for our freedom, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.